Come on in. Welcome, welcome. We are super excited to have y'all with us tonight. The team is assembling. People are welcome as we let folks in to introduce themselves in the chat. And my question that is on my heart tonight is obviously one, what your name is, if you want to share what part of Georgia you're in, and what's one thing you are loving about Georgia right now. What's one thing that you are loving about Georgia right now? So you are welcome to introduce yourself in the chat, or if you just want to say hello, you can go ahead and do that as well. So hi, everybody. We are super glad to be here. I'm feeling a lot of Georgia pride, feeling a lot of excitement, little trepidation as well, but super, super, super glad to be here with you all. Yes, 5 million Georgians voted. Come on. So we're going to give folks a minute to join us, and then we are going to get this party started. For folks, and I'm going to say this a couple of times, but for folks that would like to access the closed captioning tonight, you can go down to the bottom of your screen and click the 3 dots in the more, and there should be a closed caption button that you can click so that you can access that. So welcome, welcome. People want to say where you're calling in from. Oh, we got some Oregons. All right, we got some other folks snuck in here. Welcome as well. We know it's a family affair. And if folks want to say, if you're from Georgia, one thing you're feeling proud about right now, we would love to hear that. So hello. All right, we got a lot of folks from other places. So here we go. All right, everybody. So just a couple of notes, couple of housekeeping notes before we jump into the heart of the matter. We do have closed captioning available, as I've said before. If you go down to the bottom of your screen, click those 3 dots, you can get in where you fit in with the closed captioning. This call is being recorded right now, and we will be sharing the recording after the call, as well as the really jazzy slides that you're about to see tonight. We did make this a meeting so that we could see each other's faces. We did have over 1,200 folks sign up for this call tonight. And so it does mean that we're not going to be having a lot of opportunities for folks to actually do a lot of crosstalk in this space, but we did want to make sure that people could scroll around and see each other's faces, knowing that this is a super epic family affair. So just to also note, since I do see that there are some other folks calling in from other places, this call is very specific to what we are trying to move on the ground in the state of Georgia. We will be launching a text bank next Tuesday for all of our women's marchers across the country to be able to participate in, but that this call specifically has been designed by and for Georgians to be able to orient and collect ourselves. So just so folks know, that's sort of the focus and the heart of this conversation tonight. So if you're not from here, you're welcome to stay and learn and support, but that's sort of the focus. So just wanting to say one more thing is that we will be, okay, so some folks are leaving. All right, that's totally cool. Just wanting to say, if people do have questions, we are going to be answering some questions at the end. And the chat is going to be lit. So if we don't get your question in the middle, drop it in at the end and we will get to it at the end. So let's go to the next slide. And I'm going to tell y'all what we got planned tonight. So the goal of this call is to, of course, talk about Georgia. And we will be talking specifically about some of what we've got going on in the state for those of us that are from here and in here and staying here. And of course, all of the folks from across the country that want to text, we have opportunities for you all to start doing that next Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. One other thing is, so the goals for this conversation tonight is one, to really just sort of collect ourselves and give some credit and some love to what we've done together and where we're going. And that we want to also orient around the next 7 weeks, knowing that we are, while we might be tired, we're also going to turbocharge to the end until January 5th so that we can flip the Senate. And then we're also going to be sharing some thinking and meaningful opportunities for us to win. And just to say a couple of things, just want to introduce myself really briefly. You can go to the next slide, Lisa. That's great. My name is Kate Shapiro. I have the pleasure of being the organizing director at the Women's March. For those of you that I know or don't know, I was born in North Carolina, but I was raised here in Atlanta and have been groomed and schooled and taught about community organizing for the last 13 years, coming out of Southern freedom traditions and movements, specifically LGBTQ and gender justice organizing, racial and economic justice organizing, and I've done a bunch of work in Georgia and across the South. So this call and this work is very, very close to my heart. Jaleesa, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to see all of y'all's faces. My name is Jaleesa. I live in Cheyenne, Wyoming, but I was raised in Georgia, specifically Griffin, Georgia, Spalding County. Hey, I see Karen. Yes, Griffin, Georgia. And I've lived there for the majority of my life. Went to elementary school there, high school, etc. I am the program coordinator for Women's March. I'm also the co-director of a local feminist organization that was started and created here in Wyoming. And so I'm so happy to be here with y'all and so thankful that you all took time out of your day, out of your day to be here with us and share. And I'm excited and ready to get started.
Cool. Yeah, and so these are just a couple of the folks from the Women's March team, but for those of us that are from Georgia and committed to Georgia and have family here, we were like, we want to facilitate this call tonight. So we're super glad to also be building out a really amazing organizing team, which folks will meet if they haven't met earlier, but the majority of our organizers and the organizing team that we've been building here at the Women's March all come from, hail from, and are living in and organizing in red and purple states. And we feel like we've got a lot to learn, a lot to contribute, as well as a lot to teach that's been poured into us. So we're super excited to be with y'all. So just to be really super clear, is there one more before that or no? Okay. We just want to be super clear and not bury the lead here. We will be texting. We will be running a texting program with our sister org at Women's March Action. But that we believe that what it's going to take for us to be able to win is getting on the doors. And we believe and we know, based on what we've also been doing for the last number of months, that we can canvass safely. And that we know, and we are very, very obviously deeply impacted by the coronavirus. And based on the best practices that we've been developing with our sister orgs across the region and across the country, we are certain and committed to being able to develop a strategy that actually gets us out on the doors talking to folks, knowing that it is going to be super loud. It already is. Super confusing. And it's a super, super busy and wild time with all the different holidays and the exhaustion, the already existing election exhaustion. So we just want to say that we also know that door knocking works, especially in our own communities. And that we also know that if we win the Senate, and I don't need to tell y'all this twice, we can bring COVID relief to millions by the end of January. And where we knocked doors in the general election, we won. And we can do it to win the runoff. And we believe that doors are critical to us winning. And when we say COVID safe, we mean we're not going to be meeting up or doing gatherings. We're going to be setting out people, individuals with your own lists, setting a goal and walking your own neighborhood. Of course, you can bring your kids or a buddy or what have you, and that we're going to be providing a ton of virtual support as well as other materials. So just want to let folks know, we didn't want to bury the lead. That's where we're going, and we have a bunch of reasons why. So We want to spend a couple of minutes talking about where we're at and how we got here. And then we're going to jump into the sort of 3 different priorities that we will be pushing over the next 7 weeks. So go ahead, Jaleesa.
Hey, everybody. So I just want to say we know that it has been a long 4 years coming, but we won, y'all. We won. So take a second to sit in that, scream, breathe, cry, celebrate. We did that. We won. We won. So everybody just take a second to go, woo! I see y'all. I see y'all. So I just also want to say that we set out at Women's March to finish what we started with the first Women's March with our resistance to Trump. And with 20,000 volunteers in our Women to Women organizing program, we sent and received 13 million texts to women in key states and made tens of thousands of phone calls. We tripled our vote. We marched, we took to the streets, and we began organizing and building more local power through our Women to Women organizing circles. So I want to say shout out to all the circle leaders and members in Georgia. Whoop, whoop. But to also be clear that our assignment has always been to defeat Trump. And his enablers. So our assignment has always been about defeating Trump and his enablers. And they're just as bad, if not more powerful and smarter. And so they're still here. And so they're not going anywhere, and we have to finish this. So that's why we're here tonight. I mean, truth be told, that's why we're all here. So Women's March wants to support Georgians with concrete and meaningful ways to activate ourselves and our networks. And I want to tell you guys, we can win this. We can. We've done it before. We've done it already. We can do it again. We can bring this thing on home. But it is going to require a lot of us and a lot from us, but we can do it. Just like we did with the general election. We got this. So I'm going to start a poll to find out more about you all. I want you all to tell us a little bit about yourselves. It'll be popping up on your screen. And so I want you to tell us, if you live in an urban, rural, suburban setting, if you already know some of your neighbors, if you have made calls, text, talk to friends, family members, knock doors, if you feel comfortable canvassing with safety protocols, training, a buddy system or other, if you have friends and family from other places trying to come out to Georgia, let us know. I'm gonna give that poll a little bit more time so everyone can answer. I see we still have some results coming in.
Yeah, let's get it to 50%.
Yeah.
At least. We've got 150 of y'all filled it out so far. Awesome. Keep going, everybody. We're almost there. Awesome. Oh, we're there. Let's end it. You want to end it and publish it just to share those results? Here we go so y'all can see. Awesome. So we know that folks have been doing, 67% of y'all have already been making calls, sending texts, talking to friends and family, and knocking on doors. 62% of y'all already know your neighbors. 36% of y'all would be down to canvas with us. And I don't totally know how to read the results, but that we know that we've got for this last one, but we know that we've got folks in urban, rural, and suburban settings. That is the power of the Women's March, and we want to harness that power to be able to bring this baby home. So thank you for that. Shall I go, Jaleesa? Is it my turn? Okay. Right on. Okay. Very cool, everybody. And so let's go to the next slide. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the context and give a little bit more shout outs, and then we're going to get into the other pieces of action. But we do want to be able to know where folks are coming from. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Oh, there it is. Wait, Actually, I'm sorry. Go back. One more. There's the blue. There's the one with the purple. Yeah. There we go. All right, everybody. We know that Georgia going blue this year or purple was not because of destiny, or just demographics, or just the Democratic Party, but was because of Georgians, organizers, activists, and voters. And specifically, Black women voters brought it home for us again, everybody. And that we also know that building power, right? And we understand power in terms of people power, right? Numbers of people moving in the same direction to be able to transform our conditions, that takes time beyond the election cycle. And we also know that attribution, right, giving credit where credit is due, is a feminist value of ours that we take very, very seriously. Attribution and credit, as well as stamina, right? We talk a lot at the Women's March these days around marathon feminism, right? Knowing that this is a marathon, not just a sprint. And so we would be remiss to not take a moment to shout out some of the whole constellation of groups and organizations who are from here, accountable here, and staying here, who deserve credit, right? From Helen Butler and the People's Agenda to, of course, our patron saint, Stacey Abrams, and her whole wonderful team, to the Georgia Latino Alliance for Human Rights, to Mi Gente, to Song Power, to Black Voters Matter, and more. And we also want to invite folks, right, because we know that there are folks that we know that are named, right, and are public figures. And we know that this also was the result, this win was the result of thousands of poll watchers, thousands of ballot counters, thousands and thousands of people that got their friends and family to vote for the first time. So we also want to give folks a minute to be able, if there's somebody else that you want to shout out, right, be that your auntie or your cousin or your sister or your neighbor, we want to be able to give you a second in the chat to bring their names into the space. So who else do you want to give gratitude to in our state? Who got active? Who was a poll watcher or an election defender? And we want to invite folks to be able to drop those names in the chat. Yes, Georgia Stand Up, Deborah Scott. Yes, please. That is totally my omission to not have mentioned Georgia Stand Up and their decades of work, and specifically Deborah Scott's work. Thank you for that. Awesome. Cool. Yes. Thank you, everybody. So you're welcome to keep adding names in the chat, but we wanted to just be able to take a moment for that, knowing that there are people that we will forget, but that to charge that to our heads, not our hearts. We are also tired, but thank you for all of these shout outs. Yes. And I also want to actually put this article that Anoa wrote that's really amazing, that also talks a little bit more about the conditions in Georgia and the long-term organizing. It's from Truth Out, and we'll also include it at the end in the follow-up email, right? That there's this article, and then there's another article too that our Deputy Executive Director, Caitlin Breedlove, wrote, also about the organizing that defeated Trump and Trumpism. Okay, let's go to the next slide. We know that Georgia's on the minds of millions of people right now. The money is pouring in, and we are glad to see it. And we also want the resources and credit to go to the ground and the people, and not just the digital work. We know as Georgians and Southerners, as individuals, even though we are part of a national organization, that outsiders are both thrilled and sometimes shocked at what we did to get here, and that we were able to actually pull this through. We know what it's like to be told by outsiders what to do, and we're used to being disinvested in or only invested in periodically. And we're doing our dangdest as the Women's March to make sure that we continue to play an appropriate and respectful role as a national organization with a large base also in Georgia. Let's go to the next slide. I'm going to skip the second poll, Jaleesa. So here we go. What's coming? Obviously, we know the Senate hangs in the balance, and that people around the country, they're on this call tonight, are watching us very carefully and deeply invested. We also know that the airways are going to be clogged. We need to activate our relationships to people and in the places that we live to be able to win. and that we know that people are going to be saturated and annoyed and distracted. We also know from a recent study a couple of months ago that 90% of Americans also don't consider themselves political. And so it's our relationships that are also going to really help us cut through some of this fog. And we also know, based on our history, that often Dems underperform in special elections, but the right has really, really, really well trained their base to be able to turn out like clockwork. And so we really want to focus, as we know a lot of our other sister orgs want to focus on turnout over persuasion, right? That this is a numbers game and that there are very few swing voters in the South right now. And so we want to hit on the doors. And we do know that hitting on the doors does get the goods. Song Power, which is an organization also that I helped co-birth in a lot of ways, and Mi Gente and GLAR knocked 150,000 doors to unseat two racist, horrible sheriffs in Cobb and Gwinnett over the last number of months. Nobody thought that they could win it, and they did. And what this actually means in those two counties is that this is going to pave the way for being able to dismantle police ICE collaborations and 287G policies that round up, detain, and deport so many thousands of our immigrant and undocumented brothers and sisters. That's also noted in the article that I dropped in the chat from Anoa. We also know that relational organizing also gets the goods, right? Activating our relationships, right? And that literally from the Analyst Institute, scientific studies have shown that conversations with friends and family are at least twice as effective as conversations with a voter that you don't know yet. So let's go to the next slide. So what do we know for sure? We know that Women's March is a national, not a local organization. And so what this means is that we are working to do a couple of things. One, and we're going to share this link out, we do want to connect you, and we've compiled a list of the volunteer opportunities that a number of other organizations across the state have already created inroads for folks to be able to do texting, knock on doors, do postcards, and we will be sharing that out, right? We also want to be able to create invitations, but that we can't super deeply staff because we are covering a 50-state territory. And this is so deeply important for all of our collective dreams and demands as we move into 2021. So we want to be able to bring the power of our base to bear. And we're working in key partnerships to be able to train, support, and coordinate y'all for now till January and hopefully beyond. The second thing is that we do have a Women to Women Circles program, which is our local organizing infrastructure, and people can see more about that on our website. And a set of amazing women here. So we encourage folks to rock with us now. We encourage you to rock with somebody else. If you just don't want to rock with us now, that's totally okay. And we also have a team for you with these Women to Women Circles to join on January 6th. And that we, of course, want to ask folks to continue to support local and statewide orgs with your financial resources. And we want our shared resources at the Women's March to go into our ground game. So one, we will be running a Women to Women National Text Bank with Women's March Action on Tuesday, starting on 11/24, next Tuesday. So one, that's the super concrete way for folks outside of the state to be able to support and participate. Two, we are exploring, and we actually landed the plane today, that we are going to be partnering again with Song Power, who we partnered with for our Crack Gram phone canvas to be able to run COVID safe canvases in 1 to 2 counties in Georgia, specifically focusing on turning out low propensity white voters that are with us but didn't vote or don't often vote. And Song Power and Southerners on New Ground bring 28 years of Southern feminist and LGBTQ racial and economic justice organizing to bear. So we felt like it was a really important partnership for us to also be able to be supporting and working with them directly. And then the third thing that we are doing is that we want to pilot a statewide COVID safe knock your block canvas. And all are welcome. You don't have to rock with Women's March forever to do this. So we are going to put the invitation out far and wide. And it's going to be a data-driven, COVID-safe canvas where we actually are inviting people to literally adopt your block or neighborhood relative to your abilities and to be able to talk to your neighbors and track those conversations and be able to invite them to vote with you, early voting or on January 5th itself, and making sure that they have what they need to be able to vote in this election, right? Knowing that this is just a turnout game. So we will be running essentially what we're calling a virtual field office. And we will be also pairing folks up if they need to be paired up in a COVID safe way to be able to do COVID safe canvassing. We're going to be providing literature and tools for folks. And in these weekly or twice a week field offices, we're going to be offering additional training in addition to the virtual training that we'll be doing with videos, camaraderie, support, Q&A, and sharing ideas and questions and helping folks troubleshoot. So those are the three that we are prioritizing right now based on our capacity and based on our read. And specifically in terms of the Knock Your Block and the COVID Safe Canvas, this will be excluding people that are not with us. Right. And so this will be using an app that's called the Minivan that will be synced with the voter file so that people, because we're not doing persuasion, right? But we want to be able to turn out folks that are eligible to vote, that are registered to vote, and that are with us, but might not vote otherwise when they're like buried in mailers and robocalls and ads and all of that. So this is not knocking on every single door. We will be excluding people that we know are very, very, very much not with us so that we're not putting folks in a position where they have to be persuading folks and wasting our breath, frankly. We know that we're looking for the people that are looking for us. Okay, let's see what I want to say. Yeah, here it is. If everyone votes and brings a few other loved ones with them, we got this in the bag. Yeah, so we are focusing on these specifically because we honestly believe that activating our relationships and having human-to-human conversations will be the most motivating, authentic, and effective because we know it's going to be loud, chaotic, and some of us have short tempers here in Georgia, and we're going to get aggravated and turned off, even if we're supporting Warnock or Ossoff because of the huge amount of air wars that's going to be essentially going on. Okay, so I actually want to stop for a second and answer a couple of. Actually, no. Let me talk one more thing about the face-to-face canvassing. I just want to assure y'all that face-to-face canvassing can be COVID safe, and it's the best form of voter turnout. So we're going to be outside. You're not going to be in groups. We will have ample space between you and the door. I did a bunch of door knocking in Cobb and Gwinnett, and I actually felt more comfortable than going to Kroger's. I got to be honest with you. And we're going to be training and supporting folks every step of the way. We have extra PPE and hand sanitizer and other supplies that folks might need if they are not able to provide that themselves. And we will be 8 to 10 feet away and outside. And these are all methods that we've been testing personally and at scale across the state and across the region. So this is not like we're making it up as we go along. So want folks to see that. Okay, let's stop here. And I want to answer a couple of questions. And then I want to show you a bunch more tools and share with you a bunch more tools. Samantha, can you help me kind of find if there are some key questions that have already been asked?
I put them at the bottom of the agenda.
Where are they? Yeah, if you can go back, actually, Jaleesa, to the top 3. I think folks want to see that. Oh, is it safe? Okay, how many seats we need to win the Senate? We need both of them, y'all. We need both of them. We're at 48. We need these two. We need Warnock and Ossoff. My brother also went to high school with Ossoff, little known fact. So we need both of them so that we're at 50-50. And then Kamala, she's going to be the tiebreaker, right? And so this is what we need. We need both of them to be able to get across the finish line and be able to have the Senate in the bag so that Biden and the people and all of us can actually push forth the agenda that we know that our communities so deeply need to be able to address all the crises in our community. Is it safe to door knock? It is safer than going to Kroger's. We believe that with the protocols that we've been developing, that it is safe to door knock, and we honor people wanting to take people need to make their own decisions. So we do support folks in doing other methods if they're not able or if they feel deeply, deeply uncomfortable. But we would actually encourage folks to give it a whirl before you totally write it off. The other question is, are we coordinating with the Georgia Democratic Party? No, we're not coordinating with the Georgia Democratic Party. We are not doing that. We are what is called an independent expenditure. We are a 501c4. And so we are able to work with other 501c4s like Song Power and like Mi Gente and like New Georgia Project Action and many other groups, but we're not able to coordinate because of election law with the Democratic Party. We can see what they're putting out publicly on their mobilizes, but we can't coordinate with them. Are we looking for out-of-state canvassers interested in coming to Georgia? We have been talking about that, but that's something that we actually want to talk about with more of our partners and figure out if we do want to put out a big invitation for folks to be able to come. Of course, we wouldn't be able to provide transportation or housing, but we are talking with a bunch of our sister orgs about ways that we could coordinate or use all the folks that are already coming to the highest purpose. So, do you need a license to door knock? No, you don't need a license. You just need some will. You do not need a license at all to door knock. Will we be covering OSOP because Frontline has been covering text for Warnock? Yeah, I think that likely we will be encouraging folks to turn out for OSOF, but likely we're going to be asking folks and asking women specifically to turn out for both candidates. But yeah, we do know that there's a bunch of different folks that are running texting programs, and for those that we are able to coordinate with, we are in conversation with them so that we can minimize the double dipping and the triple dipping that we know is already happening. Let me see. Are there other questions? Oh, someone likes I called it Kroger's. No problem, everybody. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep going then. Yes, and people also, I see that people are like, I could provide a bed, etc. We do want to think about it also with Corona, etc. If there is a way for us to be able to lightly coordinate folks from out of state or run something, we do want to explore that. But we are first like, let us get our people in formation, moving in the same direction, and then we are going to go from there. Okay. So here we go. Oh, the only other thing that I actually forgot to mention is that we are also working with the Frontline, and that link will also go in the follow-up email, right? This national coalitional effort. We worked with them for the general election as well. And I actually found the state captain the other week, so we're super excited about Cassie. And so we will be working with the election defenders and supporting our base in signing up to become election defenders. Essentially what that means, if you are interested in that, is that you will get trained up to be assigned to a particular polling location, both for early voting and or for the election day itself, to be able to provide PPE, goodwill, answer questions, and potentially also de-escalate and or notify another set of folks in the state if there are people that are engaging in voter intimidation or malfeasance of any kind. So we ran that last time, or we partnered with the program that they ran last time. We're going to continue to partner with them again. Are we connected to Stacey Abrams or Supermajority? Yeah, Supermajority is an organization that we work closely with and in partnership with in a bunch of different ways. And I think many of us are connected to Stacey Abrams in a variety of ways, but we are not coordinating right now with Fair Fight Action because they are actually coordinating with the Democratic Party. So we cannot be talking to them formally about our plans, but we are big supporters and big collaborators in a lot of different spaces. So, okay. Oh, and then the last thing, people are like, where's the training session for the texting? We're going to do it different this time, y'all. It's going to be an hour and a half on Tuesdays. There's going to be a training in the first half hour every Tuesday. If you've already been trained, you can just sign in at 6:30. If you want a refresher, you can come in at 6. And we're just going to do one big text bank every Tuesday starting next Tuesday. Yeah, we can support all the Dems. We can support them all. We can support all the Dems, everybody. So here we go, right? First, we want to invite folks. If you've trained with WFP in the front line, I believe that you do have to sign up again. But I'm not sure if you have to sign up again. And it will be, yes, the text bank will be at 6 p.m. East. Oh, maybe they changed it to 5:30 East. Daniel Blackman, yeah, I mean, essentially what we feel like is if we get people to vote and they're going to vote for Warnock and Ossoff, we're going to expect and hope that they're also going to vote for the other Democratic candidates down ticket, like Daniel Blackman. So just wanting to say that. So a couple of things. Here we go. First, if you want to rock with us, I want Samantha and Jaleesa to drop this sign up in the chat right now. And we want you to fill that out and let us know what you want to do with us. We're also going to be piloting a Knock Your Block canvas this weekend, either on Saturday and or Sunday. And so we do want a couple brave souls to join us to be hamsters with us as we work through this process. Of course, we're going to be doing it with our COVID safe protocols, but with the other technology we're using, we do want some folks to come test this out with us. So one, sign up to rock with us, right? The second thing is that we have created a list of, and it's not exhaustive, but it was all the ones that we could find of Georgia volunteer opportunities that other groups, including campaigns, are already running. So we're going to be dropping that in the chat as well. And folks can also, this will also be in the follow-up email, right? So we've got the come rock with us. Tell us what you want to do. Second, we've also have this list that we've compiled for other Georgia volunteer opportunities. If there are other things that you want us to put on that list, you are welcome to email organizing at Women's March or respond to the email follow-up and let us know. And then we also wanted to share a document that's been circulating all around the internet that we thought was awesome. That highlights Black, Indigenous, and POC, people of color-led organizations across the state to be able to resource and support. And then we, of course, have our text bank. And so we got plenty to do, everybody. We sure do. And we really, really, really hope that folks will be willing to jump in the deep end with us, whether you've canvassed a million times or you've not yet canvassed. And if you are able, we hope that you will join us. Two other quick things before we bounce. Oh, do you need to sign up for Circles in order to text bank on Tuesday? No. Here's what the Circles is. The Circles is our longer term local feminist organizing, little teams that we've been building out. So if you want to rock with us through January 5th and or you're like, I actually want to join another team of women that share my values and my vision, you can sign up to join a circle right now. And there are 5 in Atlanta or in Georgia that you can choose from. So the circle folks and some of the different leaders well, a couple have already agreed to be participating in a variety of leadership roles in this program. But just to know it's not going to be something like a lot of national orgs where you come in, you flood the streets, and then you peace out after you win or lose the election. We actually have a team of Georgians in these circles that are here and staying here and organizing here long term. Do you provide info about early voting dates and locations? Yes. For the text banks. They're changing a lot of things right now in terms of some of the early vote locations and all of that. And so we are hoping to be able to get that into people's hands because we think that's also crucial to win. But I have not seen or landed fully on what the scripts will be for our text bank, but I super appreciate that flag. Okay. Constance, you can find a circle, whatever circle's closest to you, darling. That's where you go. And then the only other thing that we wanted to say is that we are hosting a webinar as the Women's March. If you want to spend more time online with us this week, we are hosting a webinar for our full base on Wednesday for our whole Women's March base around understanding the moment, right? And understanding more broadly the wins that we collectively advanced, some of the different polling results and what they mean or what they don't mean, some of the exit polls and all of that. So wanting to be able to orient collectively around where we're at as we move forward. So that's essentially what I've got for you, everybody.
Do you want to launch?
So if there's not a sorry?
Do you want to launch the poll?
Say that again, you froze. Sorry.
Do you want to launch the poll?
Oh, crap. Did I miss the poll again?
The last one.
Oh, yeah. Launch the poll. And then you know what we're going to do? We're going to unmute and we're all going to say, let's get it. That's what we're going to do. But first, let's do the poll. Yeah, tell us how you're feeling. Let us know. Awesome, y'all. Keep it coming. Great. Yes, we're going to get these 2 seats, Nancy. Right on. Okay. It's closed. All right. How are folks feeling? 18% of y'all ready, willing to knock doors with y'all. Awesome. We will take you. Come through. Sign up. Let's get this. Another 21% are nervous but willing. Blessings. Thank you for that. We wanted to be able to differentiate. We know some folks are excited. Some folks are nervous. But all those that are willing, we are thrilled to be able to rock with y'all. We know 31% of y'all are going to keep donating, and 60% will text and call but not knock doors. Right on. We got stuff for you. That brings us to a full 100%. And so we will take that and be grateful for that. Okay. So I am going to, yes. And if folks want to invite their friends and send the link to sign up, please do that all around. And people are private chatting me with some questions. I can't answer all those questions right now, y'all, but we're going to send a follow-up email, and there's going to be a bunch more ways for us to connect, answer questions, get folks what they need, and all of that. So just want to apologize if you're like, Kate's ignoring me. I'm not ignoring you. The chat is wild, and I'm trying to facilitate too. Okay. So last thing, I want us to unmute. We super appreciate you. All of this is going to come to you in an email. So you can send all those links around. You can do all of the things. Come do this experimental canvas with us this weekend. But I'm going to unmute us. hopefully. And on the count of 3, I want us to just say, let's bring it home. Okay?
Okay.
A 1, a 2, a 3. Let's
Bring it home.
Bring it home.
Bring it home. Home, home, home. Home.
The puppy.
Bring it home, 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 home. Bring it home.
All right, we'll see you soon. We appreciate it.
Let's bring it home. Let's bring it home.
Bring it home.
Yes.
Bring it home. Bring it home.
Look at all these old people.
Somebody's about to say it.
All right, you all.
Home.
2 seats, baby, yes.
2 seats. Blue seat, baby.
Home.
2 seats. Yeah, we should have said 2 seats. 2 seats.
2 seats.
2 seats.
Wow, let's do it.
2 seats.
2
seats.
Take it. Let's do it, Georgia.
All right, everybody. God bless you. See you soon. Okay. Good night.
Good night.